obviously, this is not how an operation is supposed to work. I mentioned the bin Laden raid, but I was also thinking today about how carefully information around military operations, detained Americans is obviously very sensitive as well, intelligence reports, intelligence of other countries is handled. I mean, I may have just really scratched the surface there in what I just talked through, but what has the last 2 days made you think about?
Well, Jim, let me just start by saying it doesn't leave me with a great feeling that our senior-most national security leaders are staking their personal reputations and, in turn, our national security on the seemingly subtle distinction between attack plans and war plans. Maybe that's just me. But Jen, you and I have been in countless Situation Room meetings. We have been in the Situation Room across both the Biden administration and the Obama administration. You and I actually have been together for countless hours in the Situation Room, discussing issues as wide-ranging as Iran, Cuba, Russia, China, and yes, Yemen and the Houthis. And to your point, there is a very good reason why all of these meetings, almost by definition, take place within the Situation Room. It is probably the most secure confines of the U.S. government. It's deep within the West Wing. It's a windowless bunker that is physically guarded by the U.S. Secret Service. It is the technical countermeasures are designed by the CIA and the Department of Defense to prevent foreign intelligence services from being able to eavesdrop or intercept those conversations. It's routinely swept for bugs after every single discussion. And if you just happen to accidentally have your phone on you or your Apple Watch on you, you're not going to get a signal for all these and many more reasons. Now, of course, not everyone is always going to be in Washington for a meeting of the Principals Committee to have these discussions in person. It's perfectly natural, for example, that the Secretary of State might be traveling overseas. But when a cabinet secretary like that travels, a team goes ahead of him or her, builds essentially a top secret tent, usually in the person's hotel room, to allow that person to be beamed back by secure video teleconference into the White House Situation Room. I can recall maybe one or two locations I traveled with the Secretary Blinken where we weren't able to establish our own top secret network there for him to do that. So we didn't spend the night, and we didn't go far from the airplane where he could do the same. Jen, I say all of that in the abstract. You know, one set of meetings really comes back to me as I see you on screen and think back to our time together, and that's a series of Principals Committee meetings that we were a part of in December 2016, when we were deciding how to respond to Russia's attack against our democracy in the 2016 elections, precisely what economic sanctions to levy, what Russian intelligence officers to P&G from the country, and what additional measures we would take in response. Of course, we had those discussions in the Situation Room because that was a normal course of things. But to put it bluntly, we didn't want the Russians to know what we were going to do before we did it so that they weren't able to blunt the effectiveness of our response. It's precisely the same dynamic with this military information vis-a-vis Yemen and the Houthis. I also raise this example, Jen, because of the time frame. It took place in December of 2016, these series of Principals Committee meetings on Russia that you and I were part of. It was tremendously inconvenient, you may recall, for all of us to go to the Situation Room the day before Christmas, 2 days before Christmas, a day after Christmas. But that is the nature of these jobs. You are subjected to inconvenience. Your personal schedule gives way to the demands of national security. Among the many things that are so frustrating and mind-blowing about this episode is, yes, these guys were careless. They were reckless. They were incompetent. But they were also just downright lazy. Rather than travel down the hallway to the Situation Room or beam in from a tent that had been set up by a team of experts, they chose to use their phones, maybe even their personal cell phones that were on their persons. Jen, our national security and convenience often work at cross purposes. These guys chose convenience over our national security.
No question. It is very easy. Any principal can say to a staffer, hey, I need to make a secure call. Let me ask you about something else I've been thinking about over the last 2 days. I can't believe it's only been 2 days. I mean, you and I have dealt with the semantics of bureaucratic talking points before. It's not a coup in Egypt because we were declining to call it a coup comes to mind. That's a long history.
I recall. Yes.
But this is not a war plan, seems to be their argument, which is ludicrous. I mean, a war plan, there are such things as war plans. It was shorthanded in that manner. The point is, these were attack plans, operational details, real-time ones. I feel like the semantics of that, people need to understand why that's such an absurd argument. And we've made some absurd arguments, not as absurd as this one, though.
Yeah, Jen, again, it didn't instill confidence in me that this is their argument, and neither did it instill confidence in me when this first came out. They tried pointing to, I think they called it the robust policy discussion that took place over Signal as a testament to the care with which these individuals are handling our national security. Neither is a credible argument. But on the classification argument, look, classification can sometimes be more art than science. In this case, it's really not. It is clear cut. If you look at the classification guidelines that are put out by either the Office of the Director of National Intelligence or the Department of Defense, you will see a set of guidelines that pertain to military plans, oftentimes referred to as TTP, tactics, techniques, and procedures pertaining to military operations. Now, if these are not military plans, and you've showed the transcript where the Secretary of Defense is himself saying bombs will fall at this time, these munitions from these platforms, I don't know what military plans would be. There's almost no question, given the ODNI guidelines, that this would be top secret information. Some might argue it's secret information. There is not a credible argument. This is unclassified. And you know who actually knows that, Jen? It's actually Pete Hegseth. And we know he knows that because if you recall his final message in that chat, it was something like, we're clean on OPSEC. Why do you need operational security if you're just having a candid, unclassified discussion with friends?
Good question. They keep coming up. I want to bring in Mark Zaid, who's a national security attorney who deals with cases involving security clearances. He's also the co-founder of Whistleblower Aid, a nonprofit legal organization that helps public and private sector workers report and expose wrongdoing. I mean, Mark, let me just ask you the clear first question everybody's asking. You've seen it. Does it look like classified information to you?
The 35 years that I have litigated to declassify information from the U.S. government, this is pretty standard classified information, given the people who were discussing it. And, Ned was using the term military plans. I mean, look, that's right there in the executive order that you guys probably helped work on for President Obama, 13526 in 2009. It says right there in section 1.4, military plans, weapon systems, or operations. I mean, you couldn't have been clearer.
I love that you know the number there, Mark. It means we know we have the right guy to talk to about this. I mean, one of the things, I talked to Jeffrey Goldberg 2 nights ago on the day this was released, and they purposely didn't put out the specifics of the details of what Pete Hegseth had put into this chat. Then today, their hand was kind of forced, or that's their argument, to put these details out. Is there any risk? I'm sure they had to consider this within the Atlantic. Did they take a risk in publishing this full group chat, even if the Trump administration says it's not classified?
Technically, yes, because actually the Espionage Act refers to national defense information, not classified information. It's a centuries-old act, hasn't been amended since the Korean conflict. So, sure, the administration could make an argument that this is still national defense rather than classified. It would sort of look pretty silly, I think. I would have much rather preferred if Jeffrey Goldberg had given the text messages to the House and Senate Intelligence Committees, both sides, Republicans and Democrats, in advance of the hearing this morning, or maybe even yesterday, and let them run with it, because they would have run with it and it would have come out. Maybe it would have been a day later, but it wouldn't have been him. He's, as you said in your opening, he's a sideshow distraction. He's the white noise deflection by this administration. It doesn't matter. It was an accident. They put him in. They screwed up. Own it. Move on. We've all sent emails to the wrong person and maybe text messages over the years. It happens. It's a big blunder, but it happens. What is the real story? Using an unsecure app, commercially available on possibly, as Ned mentioned, personal cell phones, but having conversations that are work-related on whether personal or work cell phones with these apps, and then setting the messages to delete in violation of the federal records law. And you mentioned it earlier as well. I want to know what other conversations they've had in the last few weeks they've been in office, and how many of those messages have been deleted. And that's what I hope either the Inspector General or the Republicans who you had showed video of might also be interested in, to see what's happening.